Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we'll be talking about the movie F1. Fun fact, filming was done at various actual Grand Prix races, and during the UK Grand Prix in 2024, they actually set up a fake garage to film scenes. This film came out in 2025 and stars Brad Pitt, Damson, Idris, and Javier Bardem, and was directed by Joseph Kosinski. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. F1 tells the story of Sonny Hayes, who returns to F1 after 3 decades to help a friend pull off a miracle by not only winning a race, but also raising the value of the team. He must learn how to work with his younger counterpart while being cautious because he still has trauma from a past injury. F1 is a high-octane racing movie. It has similar vibes to Ted Lasso, Speed Racer, or Gran Turismo. I am not a sports person, so I actually had very minimal interest in this movie, but I decided to give it a go because the cast was kind of stacked. I was impressed how they were able to pull me in as a non F1 racer, watcher, and by the end, I was ready to cheer like I was at an actual race. I think one thing about racing movies that I worry about is if they will just show races for the entirety of the film. But this film finds a good balance between the races and the behind the scenes story so you can learn more about the characters. You see how rewarding the racing can be, but also how dangerous. I love how they introduce Sonny, who is played by Brad Pitt, but don't exactly tell you what's wrong with him. When we meet him, we learn he hates touching the trophy and is a good driver, but we don't know much about his past with F1. It's interesting to slowly learn what happened in the past while the events of the present are unfolding. I love to learn about his injury and why he stepped away from racing and what keeps him going today. It also comes at the perfect time when Peter offers him a type of coaching/slash team leader job because after listening to why he does what he does, then you realize he would never take a job like that. He has a love for the races, not the trophies, and at the end, we see him taking on a new challenge in the world of car racing. Damson Idris plays Joshua, who is the younger driver and the future of the team. He is nervous about the team getting sold and him getting dropped, but in public, he tries to put on this confident face. He is cocky and will never admit Sonny is right, but I love how behind the scenes he tests out what Sonny says and realizes he is right about some things. I love that in the end, he gives Sonny a chance for redemption and to win the race and tells him that he has a plenty of chances to win, but Sonny doesn't, so he lets him get his win in. I do wish they got more of a significant scene where he tells Sonny how much his advice actually helped him, but I'm glad that they ended on good terms. Carrie Condon plays Kate, who is the technical director and the first woman in her role for the team. I wish the film showed how pivotal her role was more because she was breaking barriers and I thought it should have been highlighted more. I didn't really like the love storyline with her because it felt very forced and didn't add much to the overall story that couldn't have been told without that, and took time away that could have been spent learning more about her role and how important she is, as well as her team. Nevertheless, I still enjoyed seeing her in this role and seeing how there is a science behind the cars and how adding even a tenth of a second is important. Javier Bardem plays Ruben, who is the team owner of Apex GP and is trying to save his company and reputation. I love how he was able to see potential in people, whether that be getting Kate to leave what she was doing to join his team because he saw how beneficial her work was, getting Sonny to return to F1 because he knew that he had what it takes, or getting Joshua on the team because he knew he had potential. He had his failures, obviously, but I'm glad in the end he proved everyone wrong. Peter being a bad guy kind of caught me off guard, but it could be because I was a little distracted that it was Tobias Menzies, and then he generally just seemed nice. When there was a leak, I honestly thought it was someone more in the know, like someone actually in the garage, but it ended up being him, and he wanted to make more money and get rid of Ruben eventually. The plot was a little misplaced and was overshadowed because they still overcame, and the big race felt more important than his trying to overthrow the current regime. I feel like the general story is one that I've seen in racing films before or any competition type program, like even Glee, which may sound random, but it's true. The story starts off with an underdog, in this case it's Sunny, but also their Apex GP team. Then they slowly get better. There is some type of accident at the end, or at some part in the film. In this movie, it happens to be in the middle, and then by the end, they pull off a feat that many thought was impossible and win something. It's interesting, and I love to see how the underdog comes out on top. But the structure of the film seems like it's the same for more sports films or competition films, or at least the racing ones I've seen. Even though I'm not very familiar with the sport, I was able to spot some real drivers like Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, and of course the man who produced the film, Lewis Hamilton. I love how they included these people in the film considering their role in the sport's popularity. The movie had a great soundtrack and score. The score was done by the legendary Hans Zimmer, which was shocking to me because I didn't expect him to be doing this type of film, but of course, he delivers a masterpiece. The music from the soundtrack also meshed well with the film, offering a lot of different genres of music. There's a woman who, in the beginning, messes up in the pit crew and slowly becomes better, which I thought was a fantastic way to show a redemption arc. I think in films, they too often show someone do something that should be unforgivable and then have someone forgive them, and it doesn't seem realistic. And this seems like the way to do it. Show someone messing up, but the harm is not crazy, and it's because of a lack of skill or, oversight, not intentional harm, and showing how that person gets better. Redemption arcs can be good, but they should be like this, not someone who commits a hate crime and is redeemed, because we shouldn't be promoting that. People deserve redemption, and just forgiving and forgetting is not something that we should be doing. We should remember that these people do these crimes and they should be punished accordingly. But for something like this, you can be redeemed. You can grow and learn. And I just love how this pit crew is shown, and it's shown to be important for them to be on their A game. But the pit crew in this movie is also shown to be like a family. And the best way for the pit crew and the team to grow is if they all work together. As one who doesn't watch sports, I feel like they captured this feeling of how someone who was actually watching the race might feel, which is stressed and excited. This is my favorite part of the film because it made me feel so invested in the story and want to learn more about the sport and maybe even watch a race, even though I most likely will not. But it made me feel like I would want to do that. F1 is a solid movie that showcases an underdog story and how you can overcome. The cast is amazing, and I was fully invested in the story, but also interested to see where we were going next. Thank you for watching my video. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If you have not subscribed, please do so you keep up to date with more of my videos. But besides that, everyone stay safe, have fun, and goodbye.